want to be a content creator. And I want to start making long form content. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm on a come up. I live with my husband, our 2-year-old, and we live with my mother-in-law. And we sleep on an air mattress. We actually just bought a mattress and it comes tomorrow. It'll be here tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to buy a bed frame. So that's exciting. I just really want to showcase like our come up. I know this is probably a little on the ghetto side, LOL, but it is what it is. You know, you got to make the most out of what you have. And at least we have a bed. At least we have a roof. We have food. We're healthy. We have God. Everything's good. Everything's good. While I don't necessarily enjoy the season that we're in, I know that the season is necessary. You know, God wouldn't have brought us here because we had a whole life before this, but everything kind of just fell through after like 3 years. We lived in Austin. We had a nice apartment. We had like 4 animals. We had a whole life, you know, and then I don't know. I want to say that I don't know what happened, but I know that there were some poor financial decisions, or at least not necessarily poor financial decisions, but a lack of knowing how to budget that ultimately had us move here. So we moved here with my mother-in-law so that we can save money, we can move. My husband was also in the process of getting his real estate license, so that was also cool. He is now a licensed realtor, but he's also a fitness coach. So this is real life now, right now. And one of my biggest goals has been to be a content creator, even in a form like this, where I don't necessarily feel like recording, have on a bonnet, I don't have good lighting. Like, I will be surprised if anybody even watches this video or clicks this video or anything, you know, but I just want y'all to know that ultimately we hit rock bottom a year ago. Yes, we've been with my mother-in-law for a year. We hit rock bottom a year ago. And then from there on, while my husband was doing his real estate classes, we did DoorDash for like 6 months. We did DoorDash for 6 months, and we ended up finding the neighborhood that we want to raise our family in and buy a house in, you know. So that is what we're moving toward now, as far as like savings, so that we can either buy or rent a house out there. Ultimately, I just want y'all to know that we're trusting God. Like, no matter the situation, no matter how high you are or how low you are, we always need God, and God's hand is in every single situation. We had a life. Our life wasn't necessarily with God, it was our life, but it felt like looking back, it was our life, not the life that God had planned for us. It was our life that we planned for ourselves. We moved abruptly to Austin. We chose to do, you know, and literally we had to give up all of our animals. So we surrendered 3 out of 4. We had 1. We kept 1, but he died like maybe 2 weeks after we had to surrender the other ones. So God literally took all of our animals. We forfeited our storage. Everything that we owned was in storage. We only brought clothes, and it's just a long list of things that God ultimately saved us from. You know, I feel like had we kept going down the path that we were going with, trying to save ourselves and make our own way out, we would have ended up in a bigger turmoil. So right now, this would be what I would call for us the wilderness, although I feel like we're toward the end of the wilderness and going more towards an actual harvest and seeing God's ginormous rainbow, and it just feels closer than it did like a month ago, probably even a week ago. It feels closer now, but we had to grow with God in this season. Throughout everything that we went through, we had to grow with God. There was a lack of faith. There was self-saving. Like, there are so many things that we were doing without God, but just trying to include him, if that makes sense. And it didn't work that way because it was what we wanted and not what he wanted. So the message here is make the most out of whatever situation you're in. Don't complain. Even God told Moses, why are you complaining to me? Why do you continue to cry to me? Take the Israelites, move. I'm not in a place where I just hate life. For 3 months straight, I let go of social media. I just saw someone's thumbnail that was like, you have to keep posting. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make a video even though I'm in the bed. We have to trust God in every situation. And I was reminded a couple of days ago that this particular season that I'm in, though it may be hard and rough and one that I don't want, ultimately it is a blessing because there's something greater on the other side. I have to go through this in order to get to what's on the other side, and I have to trust God and put all of my faith in God. I feel like you won't ever have faith, you won't ever put your trust in God unless you're in a situation to where you really have to. When God is our provider, that's the one thing that we really just need to know. God is our provider. He will provide. Mark 9:23 says, anything is possible for the one who believes. Do you believe? Do you believe? So I'm going to end it there. I'm sorry for my low quality. I really do hope that somebody watches this all the way through. And if not, that's okay. Be blessed. Make sure that you like and subscribe and know that God loves you and he's with you, and everything that is happening to you is ultimately happening for you, for his kingdom. So keep trusting, keep believing, and keep having faith. Bye.